Hey everybody, welcome to my studio. Welcome to this little lesson I'm going to try to give to you guys over this little format that we have here over the Zoom call or over this little video that you might be watching. It's a lesson about cartooning and how to use cartooning as a pictorial narrative. Okay, so first I want to start out with like a little story. So I want everybody to kind of take a look at this drawing right here. Take a check out what you see, and think about what you see. Think about what it is. And think about what it represents. Okay, so everybody could see that this is a car that's driving across a bridge, right? And so I wanted to talk about this because I gave this question to my son, who's 10, or he's actually 11 now. I gave this question to my son. I said, hey, you have 1 minute to draw a car. And I timed him with a timer. And the first thing he said was, I can't draw cars. And unfortunately, in the art world, many of us have been told that we can't draw. And this is completely untrue. We all can draw. We all have the ability, and we've always had the ability. And not only have we had the ability, but we've had the ability to use drawings to convey a message or to communicate certain messages. So I asked my son to draw a car. He immediately said I couldn't draw a car. I said, well, you have 1 minute, and it starts right now. And then he drew this picture. And I said, man, that's great. Like, take it upstairs and go show your mom. So he took it upstairs, and he went and showed my mom, his mom, my wife. He went and showed his mom the picture and said, hey, Mom, what is this? And she looked at it, and she said, that is a picture of a car going over the Golden Gate Bridge. And that's exactly what my son Henry was drawing. A picture of a car going over the Golden Gate Bridge. So he was actively able to communicate a car driving over the Golden Gate Bridge, and someone else, the viewer, was able to see that and be able to take that message in and be able to use that message and understand exactly what he drew. So art has been used as a communication device for thousands of years. There's the Lascaux caves in France, where some thousands and thousands of years ago, people drew bulls on the ceiling with dark charcoal. Okay, and they all tell a story. They tell a story about, like, we can look at them today and see this story being told back to us. Okay, of the buffalo. There's even a picture of a guy who dies in some sort of like buffalo, or not buffalo, but bull like fight or something. He gets trampled or something. There's a little guy and he's like, ah. So those people, thousands and thousands of years ago, are now communicating to us here in 2022 when we look at those things about their lives and about their culture and about what they ate, what they did, how they fed themselves. So they're communicating through thousands and thousands of years with pictures. Okay? And so that's kind of the main idea of this lesson. And when we're together, it's a little more interactive, a little more fun. And I guess the most important part is that we all individually have a voice, okay? And so that voice, our voice, is what's important, okay? So our voice, the way we see the world, is very, very important, because the way I see the world through my person as a white male cisgendered guy in the world sees it completely different from someone who comes from a completely different culture, different background. So everyone sees the world differently, and that's what makes good stories, good everything. Like that we all can see things differently, and then we all understand what each other is saying. And so to be able to tell someone using visual images, certain stories or certain ideas, I think is really important. And your voice is more important than copying someone else's voice or copying someone else's idea. Okay, so the whole kind of idea of this lesson is to get people to get you, the students, everyone who even kind of takes part in it, to realize that their voice is important, and realize that not only they can draw and that they can communicate their narrative, their personal ideas through drawing, through cartoons, through pictures. And I actually got this idea from an artist by the name of Ebony Flowers. I took a kind of like an online course for like a couple hours with Ebony Flowers and a bunch of other people. And Ebony Flowers is a cartoonist who wrote this book called Hot Comb. And it's kind of a autobiographical cartoon. And I say cartoons because I think that's what they are. They're cartoons. They're not, we make cartoons. We don't make graphic novels. This could qualify as a graphic novel, okay? But the drawings inside aren't graphic novels, graphic novelties. I don't even know what you would call them. They're cartoons. So they're a bunch of individual panels, okay? So each one of these things is called a panel. So they're a bunch of individual panels that all come together to tell a story, okay? And so this is an awesome book. If you ever have a chance to grab it, you can. It's won multiple awards. It's the best book of the year by NPR, The Guardian, Washington Post, Publishers Weekly, and the New York Public Library. Okay, so it's a really good book. You should check it out if you're interested. It's a bunch of like little short stories. So there's a lot of different short stories about her personal life, okay, as a Black woman living in America. So that's it. So it's this lady's ideas and this lady's like viewpoint and her ideas and her stories. And so as I was reading this book, I got this book because after I took her class, I got this book and I was reading through it. And at the end of it, she says that she would like to thank a person by the name of Linda Berry for her help and her class that she took. So I inquisitively looked up Linda Berry, and I found this book called Making Comics by Linda Berry, who is a professor or teacher at the University of Wisconsin, I believe. And she teaches a whole course on how to communicate using cartoons, using comics, using this pictorial narrative to kind of tell a story. And how are you going to tell your story? How do you do it? How do you get there? How do you start? Where do you begin? And we're going to talk about that today. And so this is another really great book. If you guys are interested in finding out more about comics, this is a really great book that shows a lot of the ideas and some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Okay. And there's at the end of this book, she thanks a guy by the name of Ivan Brunetti. Okay, and so Ivan Brunetti has this book, Cartooning. Okay, and it is a little older and a little more strict in its methodology, whereas Linda Berry is a little more open. Look, see, you can kind of see. Look at the difference. Okay, this is Linda Berry's inside of her book. And this is in the inside of this guy's book. Okay, so he's communicating with words and with pictures. Okay, whereas Linda Berry is only communicating. She uses words and pictures, but way more pictures to capture mood and capture ideas in her book. Okay, so that led me down into another book to find out more people who like use the cartoon kind of. There's millions of people who cartoon, who make who tell their story through the art of cartooning. And I found this book. It's by Image Comics. It's a book by Julio Anta, who is it's a story. It's really interesting. It's called Home. Okay. And it's about a boy who's been separated from his mother at the US border. And he finds out that he has like superpowers. And it's kind of it's a story about his life and just about the whole the struggles that people come into America have. Okay, so he wrote this book, and it's by Image Comics. Okay, so this is a comic, and it's got a whole pictorial narrative. It's got words, okay, and different panels, right? Panels, pages, panels, and words and pictures to tell your story. And that's the important part, your story, my story. Okay, and then there's this other one. I found this other one. This is a graphic memoir by Georgia Weber. It's called Dumb, Living Without a Voice. And she wrote this about herself. And she drew everything in this book. And she lost her voice. It's a person who lost her voice, and the trials and tribulations to going through that process of losing your voice, not knowing what to do. And it's a really good book too. And here's like some of her drawings. Okay, so now I want to look at some of these drawings. Like, look at this drawing here. Like, that is a perfect representation of a person, but does it look realistic? Is it a realistic person? No. It doesn't look exactly like a person. It doesn't look like me, right? It doesn't have a hairy face, but I hope she doesn't have a hairy face. But does it look like a person? Yeah, it looks like a lady sitting in a chair, but it doesn't look realistic. It's not photorealistic. It doesn't look real, right? It doesn't look like a real live person sitting there. It's a cartoon. She's used this drawing as a way to communicate and tell her ideas. Okay, so this is kind of a cool page too. Panels and different things. So many times people have been told that they can't draw. Okay, so we want to kind of get rid of that whole idea. And so the first thing I want everybody to do is we need some materials, right, for this lesson. Okay, and there's all kinds of materials you can go buy. I try to keep everything really, really simple. Okay, so note cards. Okay, these are note cards. They're 6x4. They're note cards. They got lines on one side and no lines on the other side. Okay, now you can find them with no lines on both sides, and that's cool too. Okay, and these are note cards. They're really cheap. You can buy them at Walmart. You can find them anywhere. So that's kind of like, I grew up in the middle of Wyoming, and I never had, the closest place where I could even buy pants was 100 miles away. So I never had like access to art materials. So I've always been interested in like, okay, what can I use that I have at my disposal that's cheap, and I can still get communicate the same ideas with these things, right? So note cards, they're really, really cheap. Okay, you can buy a thing of like 500 of them for like a couple bucks at Walmart. Okay, so note cards is something you're going to need for this lesson. You're going to need a pen, a really good pen, because we don't work in pencil. Okay, you want to work in pen, and the reason you want to work in pen is because you want to have that permanence. Okay, it's more exciting. Your mistakes, your personal aspect to the drawing is really important. And if you erase your mistakes and recreate things and erase again and recreate, and that means you're thinking way too much about your drawings and you're not making the good communication device of a car going across the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay? Does this look like exactly like a car? Did he erase? No, he didn't erase. He made the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's awesome, right? It looks great. And we all can do this. We've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. We've just been told over the years of our lives that we can't. Okay, so we're gonna work on trying to get that out. Like that's a falsehood that somebody's told you that you can't draw. Okay, so we're gonna need a pen too, right? So we work in pens. Okay, I get black ones. These are also, you can find at Walmart. Okay, they're Papermate. They're called Papermate Flare Medium pens. Okay, so look, they're like this. They have this little white top. They kind of look, the top is like black, but it's got this white X on the top. They're made by Papermate. They're flare mediums. You can get them at Walmart. They're black. I like these pens. They're really cheap. As far as pens go, they're pretty cheap for a flare style pen. The cool thing about them is that they don't smudge when you wipe your hand, because if you're drawing, sometimes you wipe your hand on it and it's not dry and it'll smudge your drawing, and that's no good, right? So I like these because they don't smudge, and also they don't bleed through the paper. So they won't, like, when you draw on one side, you can't see it on the opposite side. Similar to like if you use a Sharpie, if you draw on one side, you're gonna see it on the other side if you use a Sharpie, okay? And you might see me in today's video using a Sharpie, and that's only because so you can see it through this camera, okay? So you might see me using a Sharpie today, but I'm gonna try to keep everything like as easy as possible. And that's what the deal is with these pens. They're really good pens. They have a lot of ink inside of them too, so you can use them for a long time before they like dry out and start looking gray. So these are good pens. No cards, pens. You're gonna need a couple pieces of just like regular 8.5 by 11 computer paper, just regular, printer paper. All this stuff is available at Walmart, okay? And I like to have, like, sometimes I get these red ones. These are like Pilot G27 pens. Like you can get all this stuff at Walmart or at any like, grocery store has all this stuff. Okay, so you can get one of these red ones, and you can do like emphasize different aspects of your drawings with the red. Like so. Look in this one. It's a really good effect. The thing, red, white, and black work really well together, and they've been used together in cartooning for ever. Okay, so once you start with these pens, you can move up. There's better pens out there. There is, but you have to get them at like an art supply store. And so a really good pen that if you want to go like to the art supply store and get some really good pens, I really like these. They're called the Fiber Castle Pitt artist pens. Okay, so they look like this. Fiber Castle Pitt artist pens. Okay, and they've got a felt tip, and you can get different size tips with these, which is really kind of cool. So this one's got a really long, pointy, kind of like brush tip, and these are a little more expensive. And here's another one. So here's a different pen. These are both the same kind of pens, but they come in different sizes, and it says the size on the bottom. Okay, so this is a brush tip. This one's just got a regular like felt tip on the top. Okay, so these are more expensive, and they kind of don't have as much ink in them, but they don't smear as much. And but I like the idea of having like this really fine point on one, and having a thicker one, having different like sizes. So that's kind of the advantage of having, like, I have like 3 of them at 3 different sizes, one real big one medium one, and one real thin one. Okay, so then I can make different drawings that way. So ultimately, that's really all you need for this lesson. Some note cards, some paper, and your mind, okay, and yourself, okay, because that's what's important, right? Ourselves is what's important. So I know you're tired of me talking, and I'm tired of me talking too. So let's start drawing, okay? So let's start actually getting into the idea of drawing, okay? So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by making a swirl on a page, okay? And it's gonna end up looking like this, okay? So it's gonna end up looking like this, okay? So I want everybody to grab a piece of paper and grab your pen, okay? And I want you to grab your piece of paper, and I want you to start in the middle. And I want you to start to make a swirl on your paper, okay? I want you to start in the middle. I want you to kind of make a swirl in the middle of your paper, and I want you to start working your way out. And as you work your way out, I want you to try not to touch the line that you just made. Slowly, slowly, slowly go around. Go around as slow as you can. Make sure you're not touching that other line. Make that other line, as Linda Berry says, is electricity. You're gonna get shocked if you touch it. Try not to touch it. Try not to make it. I want you to keep doing that. Keep going. Keep going. I want you to keep doing that, okay? And as you're doing that, feel how your hand feels. Feel how your body feels. Feel how you think when you're doing it. How the concentration that it takes to make that tight swirl with your pen. Keep going. Keep building that swirl out. As the swirl gets bigger, think of your hands, how it feels, how your body feels as you're making that circle around. The concentration you need to make sure you're not touching that other line is the same concentration you're going to use when you're drawing. Okay? So keep doing that. Keep going around. Think about your drawing. Think about your swirl. Think about the space in between the lines. Think about how your body feels. Think about how you feel when you're doing it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right, good. Now feel how you feel right now. You just made this circle on your page, okay? You've made this small drawing. Remember how you felt when you were concentrating on that drawing, when you were concentrating on that swirl. Remember how your hand felt as it was going around, how the pen felt in your hand. Start to remember that as an experience, okay? Because it's really important. Because when you start to draw comics on your little note cards, we're gonna need to use that, okay? So the first thing I want to do, we're gonna start off. I want everybody to grab a note card, okay? I want you to grab a note card real quick. Grab a note card and grab a pen. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a 30-minute drawing. Not a 30-minute drawing, sorry, 30-second drawing. Quick drawing, okay? So this is the quick draw challenge, okay? And we're gonna draw, we're gonna do a quick draw challenge. And we're gonna make 30 seconds, and we're gonna make the drawing is of a person. You have 30 seconds, go. think of the person. Use the same technique as you were drawing when you drew that swirl. Think of the way the person looks. We've all seen people. We all know what people look like. We can draw people. Okay? We all know what people look like. We all know how people act. We are people, right? So here's this person. Okay? I think that's 30 seconds. So you can stop now. And this is the person that I drew. Okay? That's my 30-second person drawing. Okay? Now there's this thing that happens too in cartooning. Don't be afraid to just let your drawings be their drawings. Okay? People's faces. We are humans, and the reason that we have trouble drawing people's faces is because we look at faces all the time, and there's all kinds of muscles in everybody's faces, and we look at faces all the time. We see all the different aspects of a person's face that changes as they talk, or changes as they have different expressions on their face that tell you different things. So when we draw faces, it's difficult to capture all that stuff. But the thing is if I even draw this little face right here, it reads as a face, right? There's a nose, there's an eye, and there's a circle head. Okay? It reads as a face. We humans, that's a face. And it's always going to be a face. It's never not going to be a face. This is one my son did, and it's a face. It's a person. Okay? Hands are blobs. That's fine. It's totally fine. Work within what you have. You know what it looks like, okay? So the next one. Let's do the next one. We got 30 seconds. I want you to draw yourself as a monster. Go. 30 seconds. I'm gonna draw myself as a monster. Oh my goodness. The same way, concentrate. At the same time you were drawing that swirl, I want you to concentrate that same way to make the lines, okay? To make the lines that you're making, okay? And 30 seconds is up. All right, that's me as a monster. Ah! Okay, so let's do that. Let's do a 30-second monster. Now let's draw yourself at, let's actually draw a dog, okay? So you got 30 seconds to draw a dog. On your marks, get set, go. Concentrate, think. Almost done. 5 more seconds. Stop. All right, let's see your dogs. All right, look. Here's my 30-second dog. Okay? It reads as a dog. It communicates dog. We can all do this. All right? So that's the first aspect of this lesson, is to just go through, start 30-second drawings and communicate these ideas through your drawings, okay? And then part 2 of the lesson, we're gonna make individual panels or individual panels that have a little bit more of a narrative. And so it's like, so how do you do that, right? So how do I get to the point where I don't know how to write a story. I'm not a story person. Well, we all have stories, and we all see stories every day. Okay, we all live our lives, and that's important because we're all living different lives, and we can all communicate those ideas to different people. Okay, and that's super important. So how do you do it? There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I've developed, or I haven't really developed, but like like Linda Berry and these artists, Ebony Flowers, they kind of developed this idea, excuse me, where they can do this pretty easily, and I'm going to share some of that with you today. Okay, so you can keep like a diary, like an image diary. Okay, and you can do this in a notebook, where on one side of the page, I'll show you, hold on one second, let me open up this notebook. So on one side of the page, let me find where I get, there you go. So I do this on one side of the page. You can draw like a page that looks like this, okay? So at the top of the page, it has a date, and then it's a happened box, a saw box, a heard box, and an image box, okay? And so how you can use this in a notebook, you can use this in a notebook by, on one side of the page, you draw this, okay? You draw your date, your happen box, saw box, heard box, image box, okay? And then throughout the day, you can write this stuff down, okay? Like what you heard that was interesting, what happened that was interesting, what you saw that was interesting. And then you can make a little drawing of it. Then on the next page, on the opposite page, you can then take that drawing that you made and make it a more, develop it more, okay? So check it out. So this one I have happened. I woke up, made breakfast, drove to school. Teacher was angry. Drove home, had mac and cheese. Son's basketball practice, okay? I saw a tractor, police, my teacher differently. Car wreck, but no one was hurt. Zoom class. Okay, things I heard: birds, the Beatles, wind. And then I drew this image. I drew this small little image here. Okay, it's kind of like I went with my teacher was angry on Zoom class. So like it's like yelling. There's my computer, Zoom class. Right, you're sitting there looking at your computer, just kind of like maybe like what you're doing right now, unfortunately. So here we go. I drew that, and then I developed that drawing into a different kind of cartoon. So here's my computer. Once again, it looks like a Zoom class. There's the person in the middle, and they're obviously angry. And that's another thing I use this red pen for. So I got the black and the red, and it makes it look like this person's like angry. So this communicates something like that this is an angry person on Zoom or whatever. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. So a way to do that is, and I got some examples here. So look, so I made this one so that you can see the back through because the light, I've got a bunch of lights on in here, it's shining through. So my PE coach in high school had a perm and wore funny shorts. So that's him. Okay. Here's a good one. It was hot and he was hitchhiking. There's that guy. Okay. And I started asking my son, like, wait, what happened today at school? He said, today Mark threw up. So yeah, there's that one. Okay. I asked him again, I said, well, say, wait, man, what happened today at school? Today Jason pushed the teacher. Okay. So I used the black and then highlighter. I just colored it with highlighter. Okay. Hey, what happened today at school? Oh, the other 5th grade teacher has COVID. Oh, so I drew the COVID thing. Yeah, Here's one. In the summer, I like to take my sisters to the park. She likes the monkey bars. Okay. Here's one. Every day I see my next door neighbor picking up trash. It makes me wonder if she put it there just for something to do. Okay. And then I went to another like artist talk and by Cecil McDonald Jr., what we photograph matters, okay? Was the artist talk. So I drew Cecil and I drew the artist talk. So now I can remember this, you know, I can remember this whole thing right here just by looking at this, okay? So how do we do that? So we got that one way, right? We could make a daily diary where we draw that stuff. Or there's another way too. Okay, so what I want you to do is take your marker and your big piece of paper like this, okay? And we're gonna walk through it, okay? So I want you to take your big piece of paper like this. And I want you to take your pen. I'm gonna use the Sharpie, okay? I'm gonna use the Sharpie so that you can see it on the video, okay? So I want you to take the Sharpie and what I want you to do is just make a big X on it, okay? Just like that, big X. Take your marker, make a big X on your 11 by 17, or not 11 by 17, 8.5 by 11 paper, okay? So 8.5 by 11 paper, draw a big X on it. You've already ruined it, right? It's got a big X on it. That's the whole point. You've already ruined it. It's good to go. You can go ahead and do whatever you want with it now, right? So I want you right now to think of the best day of your life, or a time in your life where you had just the greatest time. Something that happened that really meant something to you. It could be, you know, you were at your grandma's birthday and you felt really happy because she had made it to 100, or you met your boyfriend at the park, or you saw your boyfriend for the first time, or you saw your girlfriend for the first time, or you went on your first date, or who knows what it could be. It could be your birthday, you know? So everybody has one of those days that is just really exciting to them, okay? So I want you to think about that. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about that, okay? So think about that. Think about that day. Think about that thing that happened. I want you to start seeing the image in your mind. See it in your mind. Think about what it feels like. Think about where you are. This really happy moment. So now that you've thought about it, now that you've got it, I want you to get on your paper and I want you to write. I want you to answer some questions. So keep thinking about that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna write the answers to these questions on the piece of paper, okay? With words, okay? So just like this, look. So you're gonna write the answers to some of these questions, to all these questions, excuse me, with words, okay? Here we go. Everybody's got their idea in their mind. They've got their thing in their mind, right? You've got that thing happening, right? You can see it, okay? So I want you to open your eyes. I want you to write in words on your crossed out paper the answers to those questions. Okay, where are you? What time of day or what time of night does it seem to be? Okay, write that in words. Where is the light coming from? Think of your space. Close your eyes. Think of your space. Think of where the light's coming from. What kind of light is it? Is it fluorescent lights like I have in here? Is it sunlight? Because you're outside? What kind of light is it? What's the temperature like? Is it warm? Is it hot? Is it cold? like me in my studio here. It's kind of cold, so I have to wear this hat or I get really freezing. So what's the temperature like where you are? Who else is in the image? Is there anyone else with you? What are they doing? What are you doing? What are you doing in this image that you have in your mind? So you're writing this on words. Why are you there? What brought you to there? What brought you to this place? How did you get there? Why are you there? What does the air smell like? We've all been to those places where you go inside and it smells real good, like grandma's house when she's cooking. Or you go to that one place and it doesn't smell so good, and you're like, I kind of got to get out of here. That might not be in your mind of the most happy moment in your life. But how does it smell where you are? What does it smell like? What are the sounds that you can hear? Is there music playing? Is there birds chirping? Is it quiet? I think my dryer is on right now, so maybe you can hear my dryer in the background, drying my clothes. What are the sounds that you hear? What are the objects that are around you? Is there a whiteboard? Is there a desk? Are there pens, papers? What's around you? Are you in a field with trees? What are the objects that are around you? What is directly in front of you? Think about what is directly in front of you. Think about when you look to the right in this place, what's to the right of you? When you look to the left in this place, what's to the left of you? What's behind you? What's below you? Look around at your feet. What's there? Look above you. What's there? So once you've answered these questions, okay, you should have a paper that kind of looks like this, okay? Where it's got a bunch of different words that are the answers to these questions, right? Okay. Look, here's another one. It's got a bunch of different answers to the questions that just asked, okay? Look, there's that swirl that we drew before, okay? It's a swirl to get us remembering where we are, how concentrated it is when you're making your lines, because you're working with a pen. How concentrated are you gonna be? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do, right? With your lines, okay? So now you can look at that. After answering those questions, you can now look at all these little things and what they say, okay? So the air smells crisp and clean. How do you draw that? Where do you go from there? Okay? So this is just a really good way to start to develop a single panel cartoon. Okay? So you're going to develop this single panel cartoon from that. Okay? And I want you to look at those prompts that you just made for yourself. Here's another one that my son did. He didn't draw the X. Okay? But he wrote all the answers to his questions. Okay? About his happy moment in his life. Okay? That he remembered. Okay? So now we're going to take a little bit more time on this one. We're going to take 2 minutes. Okay, I want you to now read through all your answers that you answered those questions. And I want you to take 2 full minutes to draw that. Okay? I want you to communicate that experience onto a note card. Okay? And you're gonna have 2 full minutes to do so. And I know you're thinking, man, the 2 minutes, that's not long enough, man. There's no way we can do it. But you can. It's totally doable. 2 minutes is a really long time. And once you start doing this, you'll start to realize that like 2 minutes is like super, super long. Okay? So you have 2 minutes, and we will start that 2 minutes. Everybody get your note card, get your pen. Okay? Get your note card, get your pen, get your words that you just wrote out to the answers of those questions. And I want you to start to think. And I want you to start drawing now. Okay? So let's go. You got 2 minutes to draw this out. Okay? Where are you? What time of day or night does it seem to be? Where's the light coming from? What kind of light is it? What's the temperature like? Who else is in the image? What are you doing? Why are you there? What does the air smell like? What are the sounds you can hear? What are the objects around you? What is directly in front of you? What is to the right of you? What is to the left of you? What's behind you? What is above you? Think about that swirl. Concentrate on your drawing. Concentrate on making precise lines. Concentrate on communicating the idea of the best day that you've had. Okay? Onto that note card. All right, we've got about 15 seconds left. Like 10 seconds left. Okay, start to finish up your drawing. And stop. Okay, now look at you, hold your drawing up and show everybody what you got. Okay, now you've just developed like your first like single panel cartoon. So now that you take that idea, right, that we just worked through, you take that idea and you take the idea of the little journal, right, and you start to write down all those days and what happens during the day. Okay, like we talked about before. Okay, you take those, and then what we're gonna do is you're gonna start to build up a multi-panel cartoon. Okay, and what's really cool about that is you can start to build this multi-panel cartoon, and then you can tape them together. Okay, so look, this is just note cards. Okay, and I wrote this multiple panel cartoon about my life, okay, and about where I am and how I got here. Look, see, that's me at the front. Does that look like me? All right, so what's really cool is you can take this idea, and you can tape them all together, and then all of a sudden you have an actual cartoon of an event or a timeline. So you could have the month of February in a cartoon form. Okay? So this is a really cool idea. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed these ideas on different ways to communicate through cartooning. And I hope that you all learned something. And I hope that you can continue to cartoon. And I'd like to thank, like I said, Ebony Flowers and Hot Comb, okay, for the class I took that kind of gave me this whole like inspiration for this idea and for this lesson. I'd also like to thank Linda Berry. Okay, Linda Berry. Some of the ideas from most of the ideas for this lesson came from these two people. Okay, so go out, find things that you like, take notes. You can draw. Everyone can. Don't be afraid. Don't let people tell you you can't. And have happy times drawing and creating your own cartoon. And maybe one day, people will look back at your cartoon that you draw and see and feel your personal experience. Because that's the important thing, okay? And just like those guys that drew those bulls on the cave thousands and thousands of years ago, maybe one day, thousands of years from now, someone will look at this drawing and see my experience, okay, of my life. Or maybe they're gonna see your experience of your life 1,000 years from now. And they're gonna be told through pictures and words, okay? So have fun, keep cartooning, and enjoy yourselves. Have a good one. Okay, bye.